حدثنا عبد الله بن وهب قال أخبرني عمرو عن عبد ربه بن سعيد قال حدثني المنهال بن عمرو عن عبد الله بن الحارث عن ابن عباس قال كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا عاد المريض جلس عند رأسه ثم قال 7 مرارا أسأل الله العظيم رب العرش العظيم أن يشفيك فإن كان في أجله تأخير عوفي من وجعه. وفي أثر حدثنا موسى حدثنا الربيع بن عبد الله قال ذهبت مع الحسن أي الحسن البصري إلى قتادة نعوده فقعد عند رأسه فسأله ثم دعا له فقال اللهم اشف قلبه واشف سقمه. We read a few weeks ago about the etiquettes of visiting the sick person, how much reward it is, how you can visit them. They can be old, they can be young, they can be conscious, unconscious, what kind of dua you do for them. Today the chapter about when you're visiting the sick and you want to make dua for them, where should you be in position for the sick person? The first hadith that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as narrated by his cousin Ibn Abbas, he said when he used to visit a sick person, he will sit next to his head and then he will make dua 7 times. أسأل الله العظيم رب العرش العظيم أن يشفيك. I ask Allah, the greatest, the owner of the greatest throne, that He will cure you. So 7 times he said, أسأل الله العظيم رب العرش العظيم أن يشفيك. And he will be sitting next to his head when he does that. And in another athar, that Al-Hasan al-Basri, when he visited Qatada, both of them from Tabi'een, he used to sit next to his head and make dua. The dua that Al-Hasan done it, Allahumma shfi qalbah wa Allahumma shfi qalbah wa shfi saqamah. Oh Allah, cure his heart and cure his illness. So that means if you know the proper sunnah dua, you say it. If not, any kind of dua asking for cure for that person, you can do it. But it's more proper if you can do it to get close to the head of the sick person. Now, if it is difficult, the way he's sitting, where he's standing, or the room is small and so on, wherever you can. But if you can get closer to the head, that'll be better. الآن بعد انتهينا من باب عيادة المريض نأتي إلى باب ما يعمل الرجل في بيته، أي آداب كيف يعمل الرجل في بيته وكيف يعامل أهله. حدثنا عبد الله بن رجاء وحفص بن عمر قالا حدثنا شعبة عن الحكم عن إبراهيم عن الأسود قال سألت عائشة ما كان يصنع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في أهله فقالت كان يكون في مهنة أهله فإذا حضرت الصلاة خرج. مهنة أهله أي ما يحتاجه الأهل من العمل في البيت. فإذا حضرت الصلاة خرج. Now we move to a different chapter about the etiquettes, how a man should be doing in his own home. So the first hadith, Aisha radiallahu anha was asked, how was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he was his family, his private life, he is alone. He said he will be doing some work, he will help his wife at home. When the salah comes, he will go and pray. So that means if he's not busy in Quran, he's not busy in dhikr, he can help around, he will help around. So it's not like a man should not do anything at home. If he's able to do something, he's got time for it, then he can do it. وحدثنا موسى حدثنا مهدي بن ميمون عن هشام بن عروة عن أبيه قال سألت عائشة ما كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يعمل في بيته قالت يخصف نعله ويعمل ما يعمل الرجل في بيته أي إذا نعله انقطع كان يصلحه وأي كما يعمل الرجال في بيوتهم إذا احتاجوا إلى إصلاح شيء فعلوه. And this hadith Urwa ibn Zubayr, he asked his aunt Aisha radiallahu anha, how was Rasulullah sallam doing in his home? He said he will do things. even if his slipper, the leather on it is broken, he will fix it. And he will do whatever men do in the home if they need to fix things. وحدثنا إسحاق قال أخبرنا عبد الله بن الوليد عن سفيان عن هشام عن أبيه قال سألت عائشة ما كان النبي يصنع في بيته قالت ما يصنع أحدكم في بيته يخصف النعل ويرقع الثوب ويخيط. The third hadith, Aisha explained even further. He said, you do what you do at home. He will fix his shoes, he will fix his clothes, and he will sew it if he needs to do it. وحدثنا عبد الله قال حدثني معاوية بن صالح عن يحيى بن سعيد عن عمرة قيل لعائشة ماذا كان يصنع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ما كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يعمل في بيته قالت كان بشرا من البشر يفلي ثوبه أي يلتقط ما به ينقيه ويحلب شاته. In the fourth hadith, Aisha once was asked the same thing. How would he do at home? He said, well, he was a human being. Whatever you do at home, his clothes need to be fixed. He will fix it. If he clean it. If he's got a sheep or a goat need to be milked, he will do it. So that is, he shouldn't be saying, oh, a man doesn't do anything at home. If something he can do it. But at the same time, when Salah comes, you need to go to Salah. لا تلهكم أموالكم ولا أولادكم عن ذكر الله. That your money and your family should not distract you from the remembrance of Allah. Let's go.
So in many of the recent Muslim families who get married and they get the wave of the Western lifestyle, they say that the men and women does 50-50. And so they say that the man would cook and the man would clean the house, just like the women would do 50-50.
It's not reasonable. When a woman is working like the man 50-50, and she's expecting to do in the house 50-50, but usually it's the responsibility of the man. الرجال قوامون على النساء بما فضل الله بعضهم على بعض وبما أنفقوا من أموالهم. That this supervision that Allah has given for men over women, because Allah has favored men with certain things, with physical strength, certain way to deal with things, and with their spending. So it's the responsibility for the man to take care of the spending. He shouldn't be expecting his wife to spend. If she wants to do that, that's out of generosity. It's unlikely that a man will do 50-50 of the house chores. It's just unlikely expectation. This is very... it doesn't mean he shouldn't help if he can, but to a degree. So if he's free, he's at home, yeah, why not? So if it needs to fix his bedroom, he needs to help load the dishwasher or washer or stuff like this. Nowadays the chores are easy. It's not like gonna sit and fix the clothes and he's gonna in his hand wash everything and so life is easier. So if he can help around, it's not all about helping. It makes life easier between man and a woman. So wouldn't think it as a chore. He's like spending quality time with his wife. Sometimes he had only 2 hours to spend at home and she still have to take care of the kitchen and so on. So he'll be around her, he will be talking with her and do some stuff. But it's unlikely he's gonna have the same time that she does, especially if she's a full-time mom and he's a full-time working outside. So there should be some balance. He shouldn't be expected that will do everything. At the same time, he should be expected he will do nothing. Some of the cultures that a man, when he goes in at home, he does nothing. He will not cook, he will not fix, he will not do anything. He just brings him, come back and just lay down, do nothing. It should be balanced. Rasulullah ﷺ, when he has time and he can do something, he will do it. And that's how a man should be. Allahu Akbar. So inshallah we'll move into fiqh. We were in Khutbah al-Jum'ah, we talked about the favors of the 10 days of the Hijjah, which I think expected to be either Wednesday or Thursday, depending when the moon will be sighted in Arabia. Now,
on the fitting before, with the fitting, because we put first the tawheed and after the four mazahib, they have ikhtilaf. I know that, I'm sure 100% they have ikhtilaf. Everybody knows that.
Ikhtilaf in what aspect?
In the hadith they have ikhtilaf. But it's myself. If myself, the right one I will take is myself or myself. But what the right one I take? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala فإن تنازعتم في شيء فردوه إلى الله والرسول إن كنتم تؤمنون بالله واليوم الآخر إلى آخر آية. So, but this four thing, and then if I find the hadith of Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, before this 4 months, I'm not saying I'm not, any person, if he helped me, still, this is ulama, you know? I'm not rejecting it. But I take first the Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam hadith. So now, it's most of time, this, when he say this is, I will take Shafi'i, I will take Hanbali, because it's the fiqh they have, very weak, you know? Many ikhtilaf they have. So if we bring it, for example, if we bring in the iqam, so if we go in the hadiths with the sunnah is another. But if we go in the iqama, some is Abu Hanifa, they do same thing like the adhan. Nothing different. I learn by that. So another one also, I think is Malik or something, the people they do, for Qama to Salah, they take a single. And they say the Sahih, most of people, they use it and we use it, we do two. They Qama to Salah, we do 2 times. So still I believe this one, so what's going on with the, and we have money for this one. Even
So difference between madahib, there are different types of difference. The easiest one, what they call it, the variety. تنوع, خلاف تنوع. That means all the sunnah, sometimes Rasulullah done this, sometimes done this. So you see some madhab will take this, both are correct. And when it comes to iqama, both of them were mentioned. Exactly like adhan, and then you say قد قامت الصلاة, قد قام الصلاة. Or the shorter version, when you say حي على الصلاة, حي على الفلاح, you say it once, and then you say قد قام الصلاة. Both of them are true, authentic hadith. So this is a variety difference. So both are correct. Now there are some differences where the understanding. So when it comes to say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, the ahadith in it, there's ways to understand it, because Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is part of Surah Al-Fatiha. So if you take it as is, that means every time you say you're reading Al-Fatiha, you have to say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim aloud. And this is what a lot of the Shafi'i will do. However, it is being proven that Rasulullah ﷺ never said A'udhu billahi min shaitan rajim, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim loud. So how you combine between the two of them? The majority of ulama say you say it secretly, A'udhu billahi min shaitan rajim, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Then loudly you say Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Now, you as a ma'moom behind them, and this is what the imam does, you as a ma'moom, if the Fatiha is not recited, there is no salah. So, majority of madhahib say, you listen to the imam. He's reciting, the hadith tell you recitation of the imam, recitation for ma'moom. It's enough. Some of them say, well, I'm going to take the hadith, I have to recite it. So either I'm going to be following the imam, say Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, say Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Rahim. So you're not concentrating here, or I'm waiting between him finishing Ameen, starting the next surah, I'm going to try to read Al-Fatiha very quickly. And it's never reported that Rasulullah ﷺ has done that. Now, if somebody chose to do it, we're not going to tell him your salah is batil, this is bid'ah, because this is an understanding of the same hadith. And the ones who said it are respectable ulama. So it's not common people. They're not students of that. These are ulama. So if somebody followed that, yes, his salah is acceptable, but we say that sunnah, if you're going to follow Jumhur al-ulama say, you listen, you don't have to recite it. So this is how you combine between the ahadith. Now, of course, there's some madahib, the hadith reached their imam in a way the narration is weak. So he didn't do it. He didn't accept it. Like Imam Abu Hanifa, wiping on the socks and the khuf, the way he received it was in weak narration. So in Hanafi madhab, there is no wiping. But in the rest of the madahib, they have enough authentic narrations, they consider mutawatir. That is beyond doubt, they have to do it. So that's why you find Al-Hanafi madhab, they don't, other madhab they do. But now you know that it is permissible, it is part of the sunnah of Rasulullah ﷺ to do it. So this is how you combine with this. And today I'm going to talk about something similar to it. So when we read about the 10 days of the Hijjah, doing good deeds in the 10 days of Hijjah is the best thing that Allah loves. And when a man asked, even more than fighting for the sake of Allah, he said, yes, except for somebody who given it all. He took all his money, took himself, and he did not come back with himself with the money. He sacrificed everything. That's the only thing will be better than these 10 days. So it comes to specific form of action in these 10 days, fasting. Did Rasulullah ﷺ fast? He never ordered fasting in the 10 days of the Hijjah. There's no hadith about it. But there's a hadith about him. He did fast, and a hadith he did not fast. So one hadith that's narrated, Sahih narration, Sahih Muslim, Aisha radiyallahu anha, ما رأيت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم صائما في العشر قط. وفي رواية ما رأيت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يصوم في العشر قط. So it said, Aisha, I never seen him fasting the 10 days of the Hijjah. Another one, I never seen him fasting in, not the whole 10 days, in the 10 days of the Hijjah. Authentic narration. This is from Sahih Muslim. And there's another narration narrated by Imam al-Tirmidhi, Abu Dawood, and Imam Ahmad, with authentic narration. Sahabi Hunayd ibn Khalid, he said his wife, he heard one of the wives of Rasulullah ﷺ said that he used to fast the 9 days of the Hijjah. He used to fast Ashura. He used to fast 3 days of every month, the first Monday and 2 Thursdays. So how are you going to combine between the two? Ulama al-fiqh wal-hadith, they tell you, you don't pick and choose. You say, oh, I like this hadith, I'm going to do it. I like this hadith, I will do it. No, it has to be combined. So you look first as the authenticity of the narration. Both of them are authentic, both acceptable. Now the hadith, when he fasting, there are two people who are not known. The wife of that Sahabi, Hunayd ibn Khalid, he said, from his wife, we don't know her name, and one of the wife of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But this is not considered disconnected narration because the wife of him is Sahabiyya herself. And the wife of Rasulullah sallallahu is Sahabiyya. So both of them are considered trustworthy even if we don't know who they are. Now, any level lower than the Sahaba, tabi'i, we need to know who they are. Because they could be authentic or not. But the Sahaba, the wife of Rasulullah are acceptable, so this is authentic. So we know that it's authentic. So now we know that both narrations are authentic. How are we going to combine with it? There is a general rule, مَنْ رَأَى حُجَّ عَلَى مَنْ لَمْ يَرَى. Whoever see, he's considered acceptable for those who say, I don't see. Aisha herself once narrated, I've never seen Rasulullah sallallahu urinating standing up. She's truthful. All her life with him, 13 years something, she never seen him standing. And there's another Sahabi say, I saw him once, there was next to a garbage collection, and he was standing and he was urinating. Which one is right? Both is right. She never seen him, and this one saw him once. So that means generally you shouldn't be urinating standing. In a situation where he's not exposed, nobody will see his aura, the place isn't clean enough that he will sit down, and he can stand urinate without having splash coming on him, it is permissible. So both are correct. So when I say I never seen it, you're correct, but doesn't mean it never happened. Because it's not like Rasulullah said, don't fast. So Aisha, she never seen him fasting in the days of the Hijjah. Now also, it could be that he never fasted the whole of it. Remember, there are Saturdays within these 9 days of the Hijjah. There have to be 1 or 2 Saturdays. And Rasulullah sallam, he forbade fasting Saturday, except in Fard. And we say Fard fasting is Ramadan. Those who have Kaffara, where they have to fast 2 months in a row, or those who have nadr. So somebody made a nadr, he's going to fast a week or fast a month or something like this, then this is fard. Then this is furid alaykum, he can fast Saturday. And can only fast the first 9 days. The 10th day is Eid. Eid is forbidden. So the maximum could be fasted 9 days. So when you combine the two of them, you say, well, she never saw him fasting. The other one saw him fasting. That means he did fast. Now, did he do it always? If he did it always, Aisha would have seen him. So that means it is liked, it is encouraged, mustahab, as part of amal salih. So, as part of it, but not a must, you have to do it all the time. It's like Salat al-Taraweeh. When Rasulullah ﷺ done it in Jama'ah, one night, second night, third night, and then he stopped. Reason he stopped, he don't want to make it fard on Muslimin. So I mean, you can do it sometimes, and then when this fard cannot happen again, Umar ibn Khattab, he brought the Muslims again to make it in Jama'ah with one Imam. So now, you know it is permissible, the sunnah of Rasulullah ﷺ. Here, Umar ibn Khattab, sometimes pray with Jama'ah, sometimes he didn't. So that means you don't have, it's not a fard to pray Taraweeh in Jama'ah, but it is sunnah mustahabba, you can do it. So this is the fasting of the 9 days of the Hijjah, that it is mustahab. You can fast them, you can fast some of them, and if you choose not to, you can choose not to. Especially, I looked at the tafsir of this hadith, Imam al-Nawawi, tafsir Sahih Muslim. You have تحفة الأحوذي في شرح سنن الترمذي and عون المعبود في شرح سنن أبو داود. So these 3 books of permanent ulama, all of them saying, all the ulama saying that fasting the 9 days of the Hijjah is something that is mustahab. So here you cannot go in your opinion, well, I think Aisha knows better than the other wives. She's close, I'm going to take her hadith and reject it. All the ulama saying, yes, we respect her opinion, but we have also that opinion that it is mustahab. So it's not wajib to fast the 9 days of the Hijjah. Very likely Rasulullah did not do it all the time, otherwise Aisha would do it, but he done it enough that another wife seen him doing it. So if you can fast in the 9 days of the Hijjah, go ahead and do it. The exception will be Arafah. Arafah, there's a specific hadith about it, where Rasulullah encouraged Muslims to fast it, and he said fasting it will be an expiation for a year before and a year to come. So he didn't say anything about the other 8 days. So I mean the other days are included under the general umbrella of al-amal al-salih. So see what you can. If you can fast, go ahead and fast. If you're studying, you're working, it's too hard on you, you might choose the weekends when you're off to fast. You might choose an easy day for you to fast. So you see what you can do. And the same thing comes for salat, qiyamul layl, for qira'atul Quran, for dhikr, for sadaqah, and so on. You do what you can. So these are blessed days. They bring you some of the spirit of Ramadan back to you, bring you some of the spirit of Hajj for the people doing the Hajj. So make use of it.
Do you mind just repeating a question for the sister?
Yeah.
Could you run me the question? And can you say in the mic that the sister?
Are they not hearing it?
No, so when somebody asks a question,
Oh,
they don't
okay.
hear them.
Okay.
So we ask you to repeat
Yes.
their
Yeah.
question for
Yeah.
answer, and tell them that they have the mic upstairs. If you want to ask a question, you can
Oh,
tap,
okay.
or you have an anonymous box to put an anonymous question.
Inshallah. Just the brother is reminding us that sisters upstairs, if they need to ask a question, they have the mic, they can tap, we can listen to it, or they can put their question in the question box, and it will be delivered downstairs, and we can answer it, inshallah.
Sheikh, one question regarding the reciting this Al-Fatiha. So like if the Imam recites it and I hear it, like there's no need for me to recite it. But then like what if I come late and I don't hear the Imam recite Surah Al-Fatiha?
Yeah.
The Imam is reciting the Quran, but then the Quran says whenever there is a recitation of Quran, you have to listen to it, and then like to listen to it. But then like if I come late and I didn't hear the Fatiha, do I have to do the Fatiha or do I have to listen to the Quran?
So the question is, for recitation of Surah Al-Fatiha, if somebody hears the Imam, that's enough. How about he came late? The Imam already finished Al-Fatiha, he's starting another surah. The recitation Imam still counts for you. So the recitation of Al-Fatiha when you're able. The Imam is about to make ruku'. You have no time to do it. You still make ruku' and your salah is acceptable. How we know? Because this is an exception that Rasulullah ﷺ has gave it as rukhsah. So he said, whoever able to make ruku' with the Imam, the rak'ah is counted for him. Well, how about the Fatiha and the surah? This is rukhsah from Allah. It's a gift. So we know if you are able to listen to the Imam, or if you cannot hear it, you do it yourself. Reciting Al-Fatiha, you do it. If you can, the Imam already finished Al-Fatiha, you have to listen. Listening to the Quran, the Imam is reciting, is more important than you reciting Al-Fatiha. So this is how the combination, and we know this because this is what the ulama have told us to do. So the Jumhur al-Ulama, that you listen to the Imam. Now some mistake happens when people, it's one of these salah where it's not jahr. The Imam is saying in private that some people would not recite the Fatiha. They say, well, the Imam reciting is enough for me. But what are you not hearing it? So if you don't hear it because it is a quiet recitation, or because you're far away from the Imam, they don't have a microphone system and so on, then you recite it. So even if it was Salatul Jumu'ah, if it was Salatul Maghrib al-Isha, the first two ruk'ah, and the Imam is reciting where you're so far away from him, you cannot hear, you don't know what he's reciting, the best thing can hear Allahu Akbar, because usually in bigger masjid, they have somebody who will repeat the takbir. And till now they have it in Al-Haram, that the Imam say Allahu Akbar, somebody said Allahu Akbar, will say it. Nowadays there's no necessity for it. They have microphones. But they keep it as a habit, which they shouldn't. But anyhow, they do it. So usually this is how they done it. Bigger masajid during Salatul Jum'ah or Salatul Eid, where people don't hear it, they will say Allahu Akbar. But how about the recitation? You recite. You're not going to be just standing there doing nothing. The whole salah is a remembrance of Allah. Either you hear it or you say it. So if you cannot hear it, you have to say it. So Allahu Alam, this is the general understanding of it. Is that clear now?
Yes. But the hadith that says like there's no salat if Surah Al-Fatiha is not recited in it.
When you're able to.
When you're able.
Yeah. If you're able to recite Al-Fatiha, you choose not to recite Surah Al-Fatiha, it's not counted. How about if you don't know how to recite it? You're not native Arabic speaker, you're new to Islam, you don't know Surah Al-Fatiha. In this case, you're not asked for it. You still pray. You try to learn, maybe you learn the first ayah or the second ayah. You recite what you learn, and you learn as you go. I know one of brothers once told me he has a learning disability. He cannot learn a second language. English is okay, but he cannot learn a second. He tried Al-Fatiha for months and months, barely can recite one ayah or two ayah. He said, well, you recite what you can, the rest of it, make dua to Allah. It's about, you ask Allah, you believe in Allah, you ask Him to forgive you, to enter Jannah and save you from hellfire. You can do that. So for those who are able to recite Surah Al-Fatiha, it's a must they recite it. If they chose not to, the salah is not counted. If you can't, because you physically can't, or the Imam doesn't give you time, already done with it, then it's counted. You don't have to do it. تسأل أحد الأخوات أنها طلبت منها سيدة غير مسلمة أن ترضع ابنتها ذات 6 أشهر فأرضعتها مرة واحدة، فهل تعتبر هذه ابنتها في الرضاعة هي أخت ابني من الرضاعة؟ يجوز أن ترضع يعني مسلمة أو غير مسلمة، يجوز هذا. لكن جمهور العلماء أنها يجب أن تكون 5 رضعات مشبعات. في بعض المذاهب على أنها رضعة واحدة مشبعة في سن الرضاعة، و6 أشهر هذا من سن الرضاعة إلى 2 هذا كله يدخل في سن الرضاعة. فمرة واحدة يعني هذه فيها شبهة هذه المسألة. جمهور العلماء أنه يجب أن يكون 5 رضعات، لكن في حديث في رضعة واحدة. تتحرى النساء يعني إن فعلوا هذا أن يعلموا من يرضعون، حتى في الأيام القادمة يعلموا أبنائهم أن هذه أختهم في الرضاعة فلا يتزوجوها. So the question was, this lady, she was once with a non-Muslim lady and she had a baby was crying and she asked her to nurse that baby. So she gave milk to that baby, breast milk, and that baby was 6 months old. And she's asking, this is my daughter in Rada'a? This is going to be considered my son's sister in nursing. So that means in future I cannot marry her. So there are 2 opinions of ulama. There's authentic hadith about 5 times that she needs to nurse that baby. And there's 1 hadith about 1 time. So 1 time make it possibly, 5 times definitely. It has to be enough to feed the hunger, and it has to be done during the age of nursing. Age of nursing, a baby until age 2 years. So this is 6 months, so yes. So how about if she's non-Muslim? You still can nurse a non-Muslim child, but always, whether Muslim or non-Muslim, the lady who does it, she needs to keep track who she's nursing, who's these children will be. So in the future, the children meet, they would not marry because they consider brothers and sisters. Sometimes in small or knit communities, where you see it's very common that she will nurse a cousin or a neighbor and so on, and she will end up, each woman have nursed 10 or 20 babies, and then they grow up, they don't know they are brothers and sisters in nursing, so they need to keep track of it. If they cannot keep track of it, better not do it. But if they can keep track of it, as far as I know, there's nothing prohibiting nursing a non-Muslim child. نأتي المتابعة في كتاب الزكاة. كنا ذكرنا في زكاة الأموال وزكاة المواشي وزكاة الزروع وزكاة ما أخرج من الأرض من الكنوز ومن المعادن. نأتي إلى باب ما يستخرج من البحر. قال البخاري رحمه الله قال ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما ليس العنبر بركاز هو شيء دسره البحر. So when talking about zakah, there are the different forms of possessions that you pay zakah on. The silver and gold, and nowadays cash is equal to it. Certain types of fruits and vegetation, certain types of cattle and animals. And then we talk about treasures that are found in the ground, you pay the zakah for it, and about taking minerals from earth. So how about things that come from the sea? Amber, trying to remember the amber, I think is in English, the Arabic word for amber.
Ambergris.
What?
Ambergris?
Yeah, probably.
It comes from the sea.
Ambergris. Yeah, it comes from the sea. It's usually excrement of whales that over time they crystallize and they can be used as jewelry. So, is there zakah on it? And Ibn Abbas, his opinion was no. This is something came from the sea. There's no zakah on it. It's wealth. Remember, once I've seen a documentary, some of the northern seas, people go in Russia, Finland, and so on. They collect it from the sea. Sometimes they dig it from the beaches, and it's wealth. It is very expensive, but there's no zakah on it. Now, if somebody sold it, has money, that money later on stayed a year, then he pays zakah on it. There's general zakah in general. If somebody made a lot of wealth, he needs to share that wealth, purify himself. He will do donation and zakah, but no specific amount. قال البخاري وقال الحسن في العنبر واللؤلؤ الخمس فإنما جعل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في الركاز الخمس ليس في الذي يصاب في الماء. قال ابن القصار: ومفهوم الحديث أن غير الركاز لا خمس فيها، ولا سيما اللؤلؤ والعنبر، لأنهما يتولدان من حيوان البحر فأشبهها بالسمك. وذهب الجمهور على أنه لا يجب فيها شيء إلا ما روي عن عمر بن عبد العزيز. And even the pearls and anything that's taken from the sea, the Jumhur of ulama that there is no specific zakah on it. Umar ibn al-Aziz, he was in the opinion, yes, there is zakah on it, but there's nothing specific on it. المال المغصوب والضائع. قال شيخ الإسلام: قال مالك: ليس فيه زكاة حتى يقبضه فيزكيه لعام واحد، وكذلك الدين عنده لا يزكيه حتى يقبضه قبضة واحدة. وقال مالك: يروى عن الحسن وعطاء وعمر بن العزيز. وقيل: يزكي كل عام إذا قبضه زكاة عما مضى. وللشافعي قولان، أي أن هذا المال الذي غصب منه أو ضاع فإذا جاءه يزكي مرة واحدة، إذا ضاع عنه سنوات فإذا جاءه يزكي عنه مرة واحدة. وهذا أقوال معظم أهل العلم. How about if somebody stole your money or you lost your money and you found it years later and it was more than the minimum amount of nisab? The majority of the ulama opinion, you pay zakah for 1 year. Because before that, I mean, if you lost it for 10 years, you have no control of it for 10 years. But now you found it, then you pay zakah for 1 year, 2.5%. جواز دفع القيمة بدل العين. قال ابن حزم: والزكاة واجبة في ذمة صاحب المال لا في عين المال. When you pay your zakah, do you pay it exactly from the kind of possession you have, or you can pay equal for it? So let's say if you're supposed to make zakah for sheep, you have 40 sheep, you pay 1 sheep. Do you take it as a sheep, or you can pay money for it? So the ulama have two opinions. Some of them say it has to be specific from the kind. So if you have barley, you take your zakah from barley. You have dates, you pay it from dates. If you have camels, from camels is different because from 5 camels you pay 1 sheep and so on. So from whatever you have in the same. But there's a lot of them say no. The zakah is to purify your money. It doesn't have to be the same kind of money. Sometimes it's easier with the intention that you're trying to make it fair. Because some people try to cheat the poor. So they have different kinds of possessions and they don't want to pay cash. So they end up paying merchandise they have and they have a hard time selling. So somebody have merchandise of electronics and they have a hard time selling the electronics, and his zakat due $1,000. So you find $1,000 worth of electronics and you donate it to the poor. Say, I pay my zakat. Well, there's some here ill intention. You're trying to move some of the merchandise you don't have and say it's equal. It shouldn't be that much. So وَلَا تَيَمَّمُوا الْخَبِيثَ مِنْهُ تُنْفِقُونَ. Whenever you spend, you don't spend the kind that you don't like. You need to spend what is considered a general acceptable standard. So yeah, if you have something that's considered good type of merchandise, you want to give it poor, you can do that. If you can do it from the exact kind, that's the best. But if you can't, like somebody was telling me, there were some donations going to needy people in areas that are under siege and so on. People are donating money. So you should go to the poor there and give it as money, or should buy them food and give it to them. Say, which need they have more? Say, food, they're dying. Say, okay, if you're able to get them food and deliver it to them, that will be more worthy of them. If you give them cash in their hands, there's no food around, it's going to be worthless for them. So in their case, giving them the food is more important. In other cases, it might be worth it to give it to the poor as money. So somebody might have enough, he's harvesting barely enough to feed him and his family, but still in need, having difficulty finding a place, clothes, and so on. In this case, give him the money, he can arrange it better than you give him something. Now, of course, he can sell it and get money and so on, but this is a bigger hurdle. فيرى مؤلف الكتاب أن الزكاة في الذمة لا في العين، أي في ذمة المال لا في عين المال. وشيخ الإسلام ومعلوم أن مصلحة وجوب العين قد يعارضها أحيانا في القيمة من المصلحة الراجحة، وفي العين من المشقة المنفية شرعا، أي أحيانا إذا توجب فقط العين فيها مشقة فيكون دفع العوض والقيمة فيه منفعة أكبر. So the zakah is responsible about, in general, you owe it for whatever disposition that zakah is on it. It doesn't have to be specifically, because sometimes giving it specifically from the exact kind might make it harder for the poor person to benefit from it. You come to a needy family now and you give them 100 kilo of dates. What are they going to do with 100 kilo of dates? Most people don't eat dates nowadays, but you have a farm full of dates. You yourself, as a person dealing with dates, easy for you to move it, sell it, and then give them the money. There's more benefit for them this way. وقال شيخ الإسلام: وإخراج القيمة لغير الحاجة ولا مصلحة راجحة ممنوع فيها، ولهذا قدر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم الجبران بشاتين أو 20 درهم ولم يعدل إلى القيمة، لأنه متى جوز إخراج القيمة مطلقا فقد يعدل المالك إلى أنواع رديئة. So if paying the amount that's worthy of it, there's benefit of it, you do it. But if there's no benefit of it, the other one, there's harm, it is forbidden. Because as I said, sometimes people will try to undercut the poor and try and find a way where they pay less what is due on them. أما إخراج القيمة للحاجة أو المصلحة أو العدل فلا بأس فيه، مثل أن يبيع ثمر بستانه أو زرعه بدراهم، فهنا إخراج 10 الدراهم يجزيه، ولا يكلف أن يشتري ثمرا أو حنطة إذا كان قد سوى الفقراء بنفسه. Say like somebody has fruit or vegetations, he doesn't have to, he might sold it all, have already sold it. So he give them the 10th, as we said, if it is irrigated by the rain, then the 10% of it is zakah. So he give him 10% of the money worth of it, because now he's treating them the way he's treating himself. He sold the whole thing for $10,000, so he's giving him 1,000. The same he's doing for him. He doesn't have to buy it again and give them that as fruit or vegetation. ومثل أن يجب عليه شاة في 5 من الإبل وليس عنده من يبيعه شاة، فإخراج القيمة لكاف ولا يكلف السفر إلى مدينة أخرى ليشتري شاة. So like somebody have 5 camels, the zakah after 1 year you have to make charity 1 sheep. What about if he doesn't have sheep? He doesn't have to go somewhere else, buy a sheep and then give it. If he's got the money worth of the sheep, how much it costs in his area and his time, he give it, then that will be enough.
How does we determine what is the cost of the sheep? Because it will change, right? Based on.
Yeah, at the time when it's due, what is a standard sheep will cost, and you will give a minimum. Let's say it goes between 100 to 120, pays 110. The minimum. Whether going to the cheapest doesn't have to go to the highest. So in his place, in his time, when it's due. Now, in a different season, maybe when Eid is coming, it might be more expensive. So it's whenever it's due.
Another question is okay, for example, my nisab is Ramadan first.
Mm-hmm.
My nisab, when I reached, and I keep accumulating well throughout the year, right? For example, I'm a financially. So maybe like after 6 months, after first of Ramadan, I doubled my wealth basically. So do I have to pay 1.5, whatever I have the wealth on first of Ramadan? Or
No, it's about how much money you had that lasted a year. Because this money, you got it after Ramadan, 6 months. A whole year hasn't passed yet on it. So you wouldn't pay zakat until next year. And usually when you're paying money, now in Ramadan, for whatever money you have, some of it already a year passed away. Some of it you collected a couple months ago. So you're paying it ahead of time.
Yeah, but the value of the merchandise, for
Yeah.
example, it keeps fluctuating.
Yeah, so that's where you want to make it easy. The day when you calculate it, you do it. Later on, you wait till next Ramadan.
The thing is, like, I keep adding the wealth throughout the year.
Yeah, that's fine. But it's not lasting a whole year.
Yeah, it didn't last the whole year.
Yeah.
But my question is like, okay, after 6 months, I got like 50%
Yeah.
of the wealth.
Yeah.
My date is like Ramadan 1st, so I'm paying in advance, right?
Yes.
For all the wealth accumulated. But for this 50%, after 6 months, like when it is actually I'm due for zakat for that amount, the value if it goes like 20-25% more than what I paid, so I'll be paying less zakat.
Okay. So the question of brother here, that if he already paid his zakah, he's a merchandise, got merchandise. He calculated beginning of Ramadan what he has. He paid his zakah. 6 months later, the value of the same merchandise that he has doubled. It's now 50% or worth of it. He already paid the zakah. So you wait till next year. Now next year, when you can pay the zakah, the value is up. You're gonna pay more zakah next year, if it stayed with you, the same merchandise. Now, it might go up with 6 months, then 6 months later it drops down. So you're gonna, at the end, it's about the wealth that lasted a whole year with you. These fluctuations don't count. So that's why make it easy once a year to do it. This way, you kind of negate that fluctuation. And you're trying to make it fair because you're keeping it with Ramadan. And I said, Ramadan moves throughout the years. Now you're keeping it with tax season, you're not keeping it with the school season, and it keeps changing. So it's fair for you. At some time it's going to be high, sometimes it will be low, depending on the season, but it keeps moving. So you're trying your best. As long as your intention is not to cheat the system, you're trying to be fair for the poor, and you're trying to be charitable, do that. إذا وجبت الزكاة في المال وهلك قبل الأداء. اختلف العلماء إذا وجبت الزكاة في المال وهلك قبل الأداء، والراجح فيه سقوط الزكاة عمن تلف لديه النصاب قبل التمكن إذا لم يفرط في الأداء وإلا كانت في ذمته. So how about somebody has money, a year passed, is due for him to pay it. He had $10,000 and he started to do it. He's about to pay it and somebody stole his money. Now he has nothing. Does he still have to pay the zakah? Ulama has an opinion about it. A lot of ulama says if he had the intention to pay it and it wasn't his fault that the money was wasted. It's not he was able to pay it and he decided not to. Oh, let's see what the market will do. I'm investing a lot of money, the market might go down in a month or so. So he had some ill intentions, his responsibility. He had no ill intentions, I want to pay it. So I have this amount of money in stocks, and I want on Monday, it will open, I'm going to sell it. Monday, the stock market crash, and he lost all his money. Then most of them say it's not his fault, he doesn't have to pay his zakah.
If he passes a day,
Yeah, even if past the day.
if he passes a day, that's belonging for him. Then إذا فات على المثال من رمضان إلى رمضان.
إذا هلك ماله يعني جاء الحال.
لكن إذا يعني على المثال إذا قبل رمضان إذا هلك ماله.
إذا هلك ماله ليس عليه ما حال عليه الحول. هذا حال عليه الحول ووجبت عليه الزكاة وأراد أن يخرج ثم هلك ماله. فإما زرعه أو ماشيته أو ذهبه وفضته ونقوده هلكت. قالوا إذا لم يكن مفرطا وكان ينوي إخراجها فلا شيء عليه. So if he intended to pay it and he didn't neglect it or try to cheat it and he lost it, then there's nothing on him. قال الإمام الشافعي ولو كان له مال يمكن أن يؤدي زكاة فلم يفعل فوجبت عليه الزكاة سنين ثم هلك أدى زكاته لما فرط فيه. Imam Shafi said, if somebody had money and he owed zakah on it, and he kept it for years not paying his zakah, and then he lost his sheep, he lost his cattle and so on, he's responsible. Because now he neglected it for so long, his responsibility. It's different for somebody who intended to do it, and shortly when he's due, he is about to do it, then he lost it. والمثل الذي ضربه الإمام الشافعي في كتابه الأم إن كانت له 100 شاة فأقامت في يدي 3 سنوات وأمكنه في مضي السنة الثالثة أداء زكاتها فلم يؤدها أدى زكاته ل3 سنوات وإن لم يمكنه في السنة الثالثة أداء زكاته حتى هلكت فلا زكاة عليه في السنة الثالثة وعليه الزكاة في السنتين اللتين فرط فيهما أداء الزكاة. So I give an example. Somebody had 100 sheep. For 100 sheep, you're supposed to, for the 40, you pay 1 sheep. The other 40, you pay 1 sheep. The 20, you wait until another sheep comes to it. So has 2 sheep for the first year, 2 sheep for the second year, 2 sheep for the third year. He could do it. 3 years passed. He could do it. Then he lost all his sheep. He's still responsible for 6 sheep. So whenever he gets the money, he has to pay. But if by the 3rd year, before it was due, or just shortly after it was due, the sheep died, he's responsible for the first 2 years. So because now he was responsible for the 2 years, the 3rd year, it wasn't neglect. He wanted to pay, but he was late. وبه يقول عدد من العلماء. I said a lot of ulama, this is their fatwa. قال في المغني بعد أن نقل بعض الأقوال والصحيح أن الزكاة تسقط بتلف المال إذا لم يفرط في الأداء لأنها تجب على سبيل المواساة فلا تجب على وجه يجب أداؤها مع عدم المال وفقر من تجب عليه ولأنها حق يتعلق بالعين فيسقط بتلفها من غير تفريط كالوديعة. And the same thing, the ulama said that if he's able to pay the zakah, he should. If he lost his money, then he's too poor now to pay the zakah. إذا عزل الزكاة ليخرجها فضاعت. جاء في المحلى كل مال وجبت فيه زكاة من الأموال فسواء تلف ذلك بعضه أو كله أكثره أو كله بتفريط تلف أو بغير تفريط فالزكاة واجبة في ذمة صاحبه كما لم تتلف لأن الزكاة في الذمة لا في عين المال. So about somebody set aside the amount for zakah. That amount, not the capital, that amount is lost. Still responsible for the zakah. So the first time we said he lost all his money, all his sheep is gone. But let's say he had 40 sheep, he had 1 sheep ready to pay for the zakah. And that sheep was lost. He's still responsible for the sheep. Because the responsibility, he hasn't delivered it. Now after he delivered it, it was lost, that's it. He's done it.
What about we pay all the time tax here, the government, like over our income.
Yeah.
So just still you have to pay zakah.
Yeah.
The one the people.
Yeah, because the zakah here is just somebody stealing your money. Right? The government forcing you to pay it. It's not like you willingly, happily say, go to the government here, I'm giving you a check, take 20% of my money, I'm happy doing it. It's like somebody coming at gunpoint and telling you, pay me your money. Can you consider that zakah? You can. So the zakah. If it was a Muslim country that are distributing it according to the zakah, yes, there are certain countries, they have a whole department of zakah. You as a business person, when the time comes, you tell them, okay, this is money for zakah, take it. Yes, you've done it. But most countries don't do that. So the tax is a burden, it's loss. It's the same thing like a flood came and take part of your money, took some of your sheep, the wolf ate some of them, the government ate some of them. So that's nothing to do with zakah. If it decreased it below the nisab, then you don't pay. If they took your tax and now you're poor, then you don't pay. But you still...
Poor, they return back for the poor. They return back the government.
Yeah.
So that is, I think, no fair.
No, but as I said, this is a whole different system. Yeah, the taxation system has nothing to do with the zakah system.
Sure. Sorry, quick question. So if we are paying taxes and they taking taxes, so we can expect that in the day of judgment there's going to be a reward for us because the government is taking it away from us?
A Muslim government. Because here government will take it. What they doing with your money? They're buying weapons, sending it to Israel to bomb people in Gaza. You ask Allah to forgive you for it, not to reward you for it. Yeah, but here you're doing it. The reason here you should pay taxes so you don't go to prison. So there is need for you as a Muslim to be with your family, praying, taking care of them. If you don't pay that zakah, you end up in prison. It's going to be hard for you to practice your religion. Nobody's going to take care of your family. So that's why you're paying your zakah. Yeah, you mean paying your tax. So doing the zakah for akhirah, so you go to Jannah. تأخير الزكاة لا يسقطها من مضى عليه سنون ولم يؤدي ما عليه من زكاة لزم إخراج الزكاة عن جميعها سواء علم وجوبها أم لم يعلم كان في دار إسلام أو دار حرب. قال ابن المنذر لو غلب أهل البغي على بلد ولم يؤدي أهل ذلك البلد الزكاة أعواما ثم ظفر بهم الإمام أخذ منهم زكاة الماضي بقول مالك والشافعي وأبي ثور. وقال الإمام الشافعي لو كان له مال يمكن أن يؤدي زكاة فلم يفعله فوجبت عليه الزكاة سنين ثم هلك أدى زكاته لما فرط فيه. Delaying the zakah does not nullify it. If somebody for years did not pay his zakah, intentionally or unintentionally, sometimes he's ignorant, he doesn't know if I have 200 sheep, I have to pay zakah on it, things like I don't have to, then for every year has to pay the zakah. They give an example of people who are not practicing Islam. They took over a land where there are Muslims. The Muslims hasn't paid zakah for years. Then a Muslim imam comes. They are responsible for the zakah for all the years they did not pay the zakah. So somebody had cattle, they had camels, they had sheep, they had vegetations, and it was a non-Muslim government, and it was not collecting zakah from them. Then when the imam comes, then they pay the zakah for the imam. No.
Regarding having the due date for the zakat,
Yes.
for example, if your date was like the first of every month,
Mhm.
would that be risky since sometimes the first of the month could be missing sometimes? The date of, because they have to cite the moon, right, for the first.
Yes, yeah. So usually the zakah, if you really want to keep account of it, you need to have some kind of program. Every time money comes into your bank account, it will calculate when it came. Whenever that money, a whole lunar year passed on it, zakah is due on it. So you might have every week due zakah. Okay, and now the zakah due for the money I earned last year in May. Then 2 weeks later, the zakah due and the money and it's very hard for most people to keep track of it. This is going to pay it exactly on time. So that's why they pay whatever you have in the beginning of whatever month you decide. It could be Shawwal, could be Sha'ban, Dhul Qa'dah, Dhul Hijjah. Most people choose Ramadan because it's easy for them to remember. You're going to pay for everything a year past and plus, because some of it, as we said, collected from 2 months, 3 months, 6 months ago, when the whole year hasn't passed yet, but you're paying it ahead of time. So if you can keep track of it exactly on the spot, that's best. For most of us, being salaried or business people with cash in, cash out is difficult. It was easy at that time for cattle and for vegetables, well, not vegetables, certain fruits and wheat and barley, that when it's due, it pays the zakat. But for cash, this is our responsibility. So that's why most people just pick a day and pay it.
But is the first, would you think the first is risky, that you are sinning if it's maybe the date sometimes, because they have to spot the moon, right, for to know the first date?
Yeah, but remember, you're paying ahead of time.
Okay.
You're not paying on time. Because here, whatever you have in your bank account, some of it, not the whole year passed on it. So yes, even if you're a day later, because you're still paying extra. So inshallah, we'll be okay. And this is what most ulama has said there, because otherwise it's going to be near impossible to keep track of it. So here one just asked a question about student loans. Somebody going to school, medical school, and so on, taking student loans. Student loans with interest or no interest? No interest, no problem. So most loans are with interest. Interest is riba. Initially, it's all of it, any kind of riba is haram, except for darura, necessity. Now, is this student a necessity for him or her to take student loans? If they don't have any money, they don't have any support, that's the only way they can earn a degree, where they can earn a living and so on, it becomes a necessity. So it's not we're saying it is halal, we're saying it is an exception because of the necessity. Interest is riba, is still haram. But here there's darura, there's a necessity, the necessity taking it to the exception. Still, if you can do with no interest, this is the correct way of doing it. If you can go to a wealthy relative, you have an uncle, you have somebody that you know that can loan you the money, it's better take it from them with no interest. Some people want, I want to depend on myself. I don't want anything from my father. He can support me, I don't want him to intervene, I'm going to take a loan. Well, you're putting yourself in harm's way. But a lot of people don't have that luxury, that they have a wealthy relative that can sponsor them. Then we say it is an exception in this case.
Well, Sheikh, does going to school becomes necessary?
Well, that's the question, and everybody knows that will be you're the mufti of yourself. Is it a necessity for you to do medical school? And that's everybody will, I cannot answer for anyone in particular. It's a difficult question. I know a lot of people being through it, they say, it's between you and Allah. You don't have to justify it to me. When you're going to stand in front of Allah, Allah will ask you, is this a necessity? Yeah, I would say Allah knows it. But if you reach the point where you feel it is a necessity, that's the reason you're taking it, not because student loans is halal. Student loans with interest is haram. The only exception, if it is darura, it's a necessity, you know about it. And that applies to business loans, apply to home mortgage, apply to any time there's interest. It is haram unless there is a dire need, there's darura, where difficult hardship, something dangerous on you that can happen, then that's what makes it a necessity.
This is for my ideas. Already we stay in America 15 years. It's nothing hard for this one. Nothing hard for that. How many people in Africa, they don't have nothing, they save themselves. Not necessary. The school, if you have hope, you can work. When you get money, you will pay. This is.
I know that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to give them a blank fatwa, or anybody going to school, they can have, they say, you know your own situation. I said, yeah, there's some people who work through school, take them longer. So instead of finishing right away in 4 years, it might take in 6 years or longer, save money and then go to school, and whatever condition they'll be working with them. Everybody knows their situation. So if you're gonna do it, you need to be in front of Allah explaining it. That's all I can tell you. Because I know a lot of people, good people, coming from, they practice Islam, good practice, and they're taking student loans. I've been asked this question a lot. I cannot tell them you're going to hell because of that student loan. I tell them, if you think it is darura, a necessity, and you can explain it to Allah, you take it. You don't have to explain it to me. I'm not the one going to judge you. The second question, it is in Islam, it is haram to cut the ties of kinship. However, some family members could cause a lot of harm, emotional, physical, and abuse. Yeah. So, لا ضرر ولا ضرار. So you shouldn't harm yourself or cause harm on others. This is a general rule. So if keeping the ties of kinship causes significant harm, you can limit these ties. Cutting it in totality, it is going to be very extreme. It has to be really bad person that you cut them totally. You can limit your interaction. You might have a cousin or an uncle or some in-laws that they're annoying, they're causing problems and so on. You limit your interaction with them. Still, if they're sick, you visit them, you make dua for them, there's happiness, you congratulate them, but you don't have to visit them every day. Cutting totally has to be really dangerous. Somebody who's threatened you, somebody who's going to cause serious harm to you, that's the only time you cut them totally. But you can limit your interaction with certain people that are very toxic. Okay. The question here about somebody killed another person, I hope by mistake, and then they paid blood money to the family, and the family forgave him. Would Allah forgive him? He has to repent. So paying diya by itself is not enough. He has to repent for a person. So by mistake, most people will repent. They didn't mean it. With a car, they're playing, they're throwing something, pushed someone, he was angry with someone, he didn't intend to hurt them. Pay the money, he has to repent. So Allah is forgiving. If you repent to Allah, Allah will forgive you. Very close. We're just gonna finish one more item. الزكاة في المال المشترك. إذا كان المال مشتركا بين شريكين أو أكثر لا تجب الزكاة على واحد منهما حتى يكون لكل واحد منهما نصاب كامل. هذا في غير الخلطة في الحيوان. How about if money has partners in it and that money reach the nisab? Is there zakah on it? The zakah on it, if each partner, their share, it reached the nisab. So as we said, if we take in the silver, it's around $600. So two partners, they have money together, whatever investment they do, and it's now more than $600. Each one of them should be more than $600. So if it's only $1,000, each have $500, they don't pay, except for animals. So if the animals, they both own the herd, the money on the herd. So it's not like, okay, the black sheep are mine, the white sheep are yours. We own 60 sheep, both of us, and I don't know which one mine, which one yours. Well, they're more than 40, so you have to pay zakah. But if it was clear that we have somebody taking care of our sheep and they're grazing together, but this is mine, this is yours, then each one on his share. But generally, money is mixed. So both people have a store. So usually it will reach the minimum. As we said, the minimum for zakat al-fidda with silver is not that amount, $600. Almost, I don't know any business will do less than $600 unless kids are dealing with candy. But most of the time, it is something that reach more than that. lemonade stand or something might not make that generate money. So then they will pay zakah on it. Wallahu a'lam. So inshallah we'll stop here.
Shaykh, regarding the Eid al-Adha, they've been doing the sacrificing animal.
Yeah.
So does a person has to do it where they live, or can they send money to a different country and do it? What is the preferable way?
So the question here about the udhiyah, the biha for Eid al-Adha, where it is best to be sacrificed. The best thing is the one carry the sacrifice in the place that where he is and he do it himself. This is the best you can do. Second best, you supervise the one who's doing it, so he'll be present when it's done. The third best, you assign someone else to do it. In this case, you have a choice. Either the place you live in, you know there's needy people, you ask somebody, a butcher or somebody, okay, I want you to sacrifice the animal, and then bring me the meat, I'll distribute it, give it masjid, distribute it, or you give it to the needy. Or you know there's a place where they really need it, they haven't eaten meat for a long time, you send it to them. So if you're not intending yourself to do the sacrifice, or be physically present when the sacrifice is done, then you see your judgment. If you feel it be sent overseas to places where they need it, then do it. And that's what I've been done. I've done a few times here where I've done the sacrifice myself or attended it. But the years when I'm not doing it, I'm sending it, because I know most people here, they have meat. Barely anybody has a meat. But I know a lot of places overseas, they might not see meat for months. So if I send it there, I feel there's more reward with it.
Sorry, Sheikh, who's responsible for it?
The responsible, the head of the family. So if the head of the family, everybody living with him in his household, one sacrifice is enough for that household, a sheep or a goat. 5 families can come together with a cow or a camel.
Sorry, Sheikh. One of our revert sisters asked, what about hers? Because there is no Muslim head of the family.
Yeah. If she can afford it, then yes, go ahead. She'll do it.
Is she responsible for it?
Yeah, she's responsible. If she has money, if she's making money, then she's responsible for it.
Okay.
Fatima radiallahu anha, Rasulullah sallam, he told her, witness your udhiyah. So she made udhiyah, although Ali probably had done udhiyah, but she wanted to do of her own money. So saying the head of family is responsible, any member of the family still can make udhiyah, but it's an option, not a must. It's the head of family must. But like this lady doesn't have a head of family, she's on her own. Then if she has money, she makes the udhiyah. She cannot attend it, she can assign it, send it one of these charity places where they can carry it out.
Okay.
Allah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك اشهد ان